Before I went to walk away, homegirl with the paddle said, "Nuh-uh." She said, what'd she say? I got it right over here. Bend over deeper.
Welcome back to House of 1000 Haunts. I am Stevie.
And I'm Dwayne.
And today we are talking about a haunt located in Louisville, Kentucky. A very hands-on haunt that does not give you the option. The Haunted Hotel. The Haunted Hotel is a completely different setup than we are normally used to with our woodsy farm haunts. It is located right in the middle of a city, right on the side of the street.
That's right. It's right smack dab in the middle of Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
It was definitely a different experience for us.
As it had no midway whatsoever.
No midway at all.
Yeah.
When you first walk up, you kind of see the facade and the line and everything, and then you want to walk off to the side, and you see the ticket booth off to the side there.
Off to the side, more like down the road.
Yeah, it is kind of like down an alley. And
yeah, so they are right on the corner of the road. So right down that road they are on the corner of is where their ticket booth is. And it's not really a facade. It's more of like a hotel.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Yeah.
It really is. The line to get into the haunt is literally right in the front yard, and you walk through the front door. And I mention that because a lot of the haunts that we go to sometimes will have facades, and you don't always walk through the door. Like, their facade's not always interactive. And again, it wasn't a facade, it was a hotel.
Yep.
And as I said before as well, it is hands-on, and there is no other option. It is only hands-on. So if you walk into this hotel, you are entering at your own risk.
Right. Yeah, if you don't like hands-on stuff or you don't want to be touched, don't go to this one.
Nope, not at all. You can just watch the walkthrough we did on our YouTube channel. We will have that in the show notes below. But before we get into the house, let's talk about what we're drinking per usual. We're in the studio today. If you are watching this on the video version, I just got my spiritual water bottle, my nice purple water bottle. Just drink some water.
Yeah. Sweet tea.
Yeah, staying hydrated. So guys, like we said, the Haunted Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky. I've already had multiple people rip me a new one for saying their city's name wrong, even though it's spelled Ville. Anyway, you never know if it's going to be Ville, Valvoline. You never know. It could be any of them. So as you stand in front of the Haunted Hotel and wait for your chance to walk through the door opens for you, slides open abruptly, and
walk in.
For us, Michael Myers was waiting, and I didn't need to use my legs at all because he grabbed me by the shoulders and yanked me inside the lobby. Oh my God. So that was just a little sample of what we were in for the rest of our adventure.
Right, it starts off extremely hands-on. They grab you to pull you in, and then you're greeted by a bellhop who kind of explains the hotel a little bit to you and directs you to the elevator.
Yeah, but they also warned us about Art the Clown, which was a little foreshadowing of what we're going to see towards the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got in the elevator, and later we were told about this gentleman, but we did encounter the one and only Gustav.
We have some friends who go to this haunt pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And when we come out, they actually went behind us, like a couple groups behind us. Mm-hmm. And when they came out, they said, "Man, that was awesome. Did y'all like it?" And we're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Man, too bad y'all didn't get Gustav in the elevator." And I'm like, "But we did." They're like, "Oh, y'all did!" And so that was apparently he's one of the best guys in the elevator to have a seasoned haunt actor.
He's he's
very
someone
cool.
who stands out in the community.
I'm glad we got Gustav. He was he shoved Stevie's face upside the wall.
Yeah, he did. He reminded me of I always reference movies in my mind, and it literally reminded me of a Detroit Rock City where he grabs his head and slides it against the car with the cheese on it. You know, the hunk of fucking cheese, Kenny. It reminded me of that. He just rammed my head against the wall and just squished my face against the wall. But he was fun. It was interesting. Dwayne walked out a little sweaty, and I walked out a little sticky.
That elevator was good too because of how the strobes were and him being all in there, and it was shaking
the way
around.
That it moved.
Made me kind of dizzy. So that was really neat.
Yeah.
That was really neat too. You don't really get that much. Sometimes those elevators are a little tame. And it's kind of like
yeah, they just move a little bit. We've talked about that before with the elevators and how they move. So it is cool to go to different haunts and see how they utilize the elevator. Because again, a lot of these haunts use some of the same equipment. So it's cool to see how they utilize it. But once we exited the elevator, it appeared we were in the basement. And there was like pipes and there was water, like leaky water. You could just hear water leaking.
It was cool.
Water from above your head.
I love water inside of a haunt. I think that's cool. Like running water, I think that's really neat. Even if it's just from pipes or something like that, the sounds or whatever, I love it. I think that's great.
Yeah, it puts you in like a different setting and in a different mindset. It does really, it takes you to that space. You're just like, where the hell am I?
Yeah.
And it did. It felt like we were in some leaky underground basement area,
which was inhabited by some guys who didn't really care much for Stevie's skin. I guess she wasn't the right size. They wanted me, I was a big tall guy, for
I don't think they like the way I smell.
my skin, and they wanted to turn me into an animatronic and just set me right there. He said, I got a spot for you right here. He's like, we're just gonna take all your insides out and put some electronics in there. And he said, you'll be grooving and moving.
Yeah, it's like we stumbled upon their workshop.
Right, it was pretty cool.
One of the scariest rooms for me was the space we walked upon. It looked like a really big laundry room. There was clothes hanging everywhere, some cool artwork of like some Halloween characters on the walls, and this lady, I forget her name, God bless you, my love, with this massive fucking paddle. Her and her paddle.
Which actually, before we even walked in the haunt, she was outside in the line, and she got me pretty good.
Yeah, when we were getting the tickets.
Yeah, when we were going
on the side of the building.
Yeah, I walked by her, and she got me with that paddle pretty good. And little did I know it was foreshadowing
what was going to happen inside this laundry room.
Yeah.
Inside this laundry room. So homeboy who was trying to get Dwayne to rip his skin off, it was the same guy who came up and grabbed us and didn't want to let us continue walking through the haunt. I was just going about my merry way, just passing through, not trying to mind, I'm not trying to get into nobody's business. I'm trying to mind my own. He said, no. Okay, and then she walks up with her paddle like they're gonna give me a spanking or something, and I said, I'm good, I'd already had my birthday.
It was likely like August, I think, so it was just a couple weeks before.
Yeah, we didn't mention that this was actually kind of like a summer gimmick, but it was kind of like right at the end of summer, right before haunt season, so it really just felt like it was getting ready for Halloween.
It was like 2 weeks before haunt.
Yeah, so there wasn't any like weird gimmicks or anything like that going on. So yeah, I just had my birthday and I didn't need a celebration continuing my birthday. So we did get it on film where I was bent over and whacked one pretty good. And guys, I wear really thin leggings most of the time. And I felt that in my soul. So they hit me one good time, and I hid underneath, those fixtures, those like circle fixtures with clothes on them in the clothing store. There was one of those sitting there, and I hid underneath it for a second. And while I did that, they got Dwayne.
Yeah, when we first walked in, he handed me a towel and said, here, you're going to need this. And I was like, oh. And
to wipe you down.
And then after they were done with her, they wiped me down and got my hair all crazy and stuff. And then before I went to walk away, homegirl with the paddle said, nah, she said, what'd she say? I got it right over here. Bend over deeper.
She said, bend over deeper.
I just kind of like leaned, and she goes, nah, bend over deeper. And I was like, oh, and like...
Yeah, they got it real good. If you're watching this on the YouTube video, it's actually happening right now.
Oh my God, it is. Too funny, yeah.
Because we do have it playing in the background.
She got me a good 3 or 4 times, and yeah, it was not light. she got me good.
She whacked it. Yeah. So again, guys, there's we like to let y'all know what you're getting into and the types of haunts if you're just not physically able to go through them. This one is only a touch haunt,
yes.
and you don't have an option for it not to be. So if you don't want to be touched, do not walk through this. Live vicariously through our videos or anybody else who's done walkthroughs on YouTube. There are others as well. And you can watch them there.
Yeah.
And just send love to the Haunted Hotel because they will fill up on you. It's a hotel, right? We're getting cozy, right?
Just like a hotel, all the little rooms are kind of linked together. You walk from the laundry room into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right into the kitchen where some lady was in there cooking a person and she was having deep fried person.
I tried to ask if it was chicken. You know, she was not afraid to let me know it wasn't.
It was not. It was not chicken.
It was apparently the patrons who had stayed in the hotel, and I don't know why we chose to check into this one. Sheesh. Us always want to do hotel reviews on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We walked into the wrong one today. Oh man! After the kitchen was this. It was like off to the left side, this gnarly big set of stairs. And maybe it's not that gnarly. Maybe even some people will be like, what is she talking about? And to me, it looked like this grand set of stairs. And you don't always get to walk up and down stairs in a lot of haunts that we're used to. But, man, we're in the city. We're in the city.
Use the space you have.
Use the space you have.
The Haunted Hotel did amazing with the space they had.
And they had a few sets of stairs, and this one was this really cool. I don't know. It just looked so wicked. They had like some green light on top of it, and I just thought it looked really cool.
It was very awesome.
We encountered this doll room where they just had dolls all over, and then there was this girl in there just wanting to have you stay and be one of the dolls. And I mention it because she specifically reminded me of this girl we know named Cindy. Shout out to you and your new baby. Congratulations to her new baby.
Yeah.
But she did, and I mentioned that in the video. I'm like, is that Cindy? Listen, I have ADHD. I get sidetracked real easy. So I'm like getting scared, but then I'm like, was that a rabbit? Like, I get distracted, okay? This haunt also had a lot of really big, fat, nasty spiders. Just like kind of randomly. Oh man, I'm not a fan of big fat nasty spiders. I always said like I don't even think the show's still on. Of course it's not. The Fear Factor. I loved that show, but I would never be able to do it because of course in the application they ask you what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
I'm not writing spiders down. That's a death warrant. We walk in this one room. There was a bunch that it looked like all the furniture was just like set up like a fort, and there was a girl in it that was being very creepy. And I was like, "Wait, are you a Wendigo or something?"
She wanted to wear Stevie's skin.
Yeah, so I was like, "She's a Wendigo, run away!" But I just thought it was cool. It just looked like a fort room, a mountain of chairs. And then we turned the corner, and I just see this. This is not even needed to be mentioned. I saw this random little coffee table sitting there just by itself. I was like, is this for sale?
For sale? Yeah.
Again, the ADHD was ADHD, and I just noticed the most random things. But I remember that because it was right in front of this really steep set of skinny stairs that just went down.
And Stevie, she's always very vocal if you've watched any of our haunt videos.
No scares on stairs.
On these mother trucking stairs.
No
and the people
scares on these
from
stairs.
Necropolis Haunted House, which is up in near Chicago.
Yeah.
We're actually right behind us, and they go, "What did she say?" The whole time, when they caught up to us, from like then on, they were just laughing at Stevie. I know there was another point later on where she says something about, it smells like meatloaf in here, or something like that.
Sloppy Joe's.
Sloppy Joe's. And I hear one of the dudes behind us a little bit later, he goes, "It does smell like Sloppy Joe's in here."
That's another haunt we need to check out, Necropolis.
Yes, most definitely. It's actually underground.
Yeah. But then from there, the skinny stairs led us right outside, and of course, just chainsaws. There was like, you could just hear all these cars like they were coming after you, and then there he was,
Sitting there
waiting in the wings, tapping his toe.
Looking at his watch, waiting on you.
Art was waiting on us.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And
it was kind of like a maze, like almost like
outside.
Like you're like an alley, like you're in alleys or something, and it was just like kind of back and forth.
Yeah, and basically Art would come in and out in random spots and attack Dwayne.
He would grab, he had this like rope, and he would put it on my neck, but I have a beard, so it would just go like this.
So your beard saved you.
And it was funny because the first time he came up to me, he did that, and he was a smaller guy, and pushed me into the wall, and I think he thought that I was just going to hit the wall. I went through the wall.
Yeah, you did.
The wall went and like broke, and I thought he was going to take me out. I thought I was literally about to get taken out because I've heard of some haunts where sometimes they'll take you out of it. Like not like, oh, you've been bad or taking you out, like you got took. You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes I think that's staged. I don't think you're always just being exited, but you'll be going through a different way.
That wasn't the case.
He fell through the wall.
I fell through the wall. Because I'm a big guy. And I think Art got a little over zealous there. And
it was funny though.
It was funny. It was hilarious.
We ended up like going back inside at one point and then zigzag back outside. We thought we were safe and then not.
Right.
And then Art popped up again from underneath something and attacked him again.
Yeah. It was like this big pipe or something. He kept targeting me. He would not leave me alone. It was freaking crazy.
We turn a corner and we actually see the exit and the alleyway that's near where the ticket booth was. So we were safe, we were good. Started to walk out. Chainsaw. Of course, a damn chainsaw runs us straight into the street, but not Dwayne, because Art gets his hands on Dwayne and starts to toss him into the dumpster. Straight up.
Hilarious. It was pretty funny.
And that was the Haunted Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky.
Just like I said on the video, the Haunted Hotel might be a hands-on haunt, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Very fun. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel like I was going to get hurt at any point.
And we didn't get hurt at any point.
No, we didn't. It was just fun. You know, and I mean, we got spanked, whatever. A little bit of masochist, But
hey, you know what? Maybe next time I can wear some kind of armor or cushion on my butt cheeks. Listen, guys, if you aren't familiar with how I look, I got a big old donkey in the trunky, so then my butt would just look really big. My bum is on your paddle, and I feel nothing. That would be crazy. That was a good time, though, at the Haunted Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky.
Huge shout out to the Haunted Hotel for having us out.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
The Haunted Hotel was pretty neat. Right beside a little store, and I think not too far from a Denny's.
Yeah, it was all really cool. It was a great experience. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. And speaking of, they are actually open for Easter. They're going to be open on April 19th, the weekend of Easter. So if you guys would be interested in checking out the Haunted Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, I will have their information linked in the show notes below so you can see Rotten Tales Revenge, an Easter horror event.
And we've seen other videos of that haunt. That haunt changes all the time.
Yeah, so you could get different people in the hotel, at the front door of the hotel that pulls you inside. You could get somebody different inside of the elevator.
Yep.
You never know. It'll be different because like I said, the ones that we have seen on YouTube, they're all different from our video as well. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. That's fun. So again, we're really excited to see haunts opening up more times throughout the year, and the Haunted Hotel is definitely one of those. So if you want to travel for haunts like we do, check out the Haunted Hotel linked in the show notes below.
Yeah.
So guys, as always, thanks for hanging out with us. If you had fun on this episode of House of 1000 Haunts, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah.
And don't forget, guys, we're also on YouTube. The video of this is on YouTube. We'll have that linked in the show notes below.
Give that like button a spanking.
Oh. And slap the shit out of the subscribe button. Just slap her right in the rear. All right, guys. Well, as always, I am Stevie.
And I'm Dwayne.
And this is House of 1000 Haunts. Holy shit.